Y'all, it has been a long day, it has been a long week, and it's been far too long since we had some long form content about college football. So let's get underway. I've been working on this for a long time. This has been a big project. I have projected every regular season game throughout the entirety of the season, and we're going to see how I do. I've also predicted the conference champions matchups and the playoffs. So, here's how this is going to go. Today, we are going to go through the Pac-12 and the ACC. And then, I'm going to release a couple different parts about the rest of the stuff. But before we really get into that, there's some interesting things coming up this season that I wanted to point out. So everyone's talking up BYU, and that's because my Cougs are doing really well. I'm not as pumped about this season as I was a couple of seasons ago, and part of why that is because it's really, really difficult for a program to improve 3 consecutive years in a row. Yeah, well, as opposed to 3 non-consecutive years in a row. So, feel free to roast my language in the comments. But yeah, there's fireworks going on outside at 6 o'clock in the evening. I don't know what's going on, and my fans probably audible on this video, but this is the production studio that we have so far. Like and subscribe so that I can get to monetization and improve my studio space. But people have been talking up BYU. People have been talking up Utah. The team that very well could be the first Utah team to get to the playoffs is Utah State. They have the season for it. And if BYU does well enough, they might get the first round bye. So, if Utah State does well enough and they win the Pac-12 conference championship game, they could be that 12th spot to become the first team from Utah to play in a playoff game. So we'll see what goes on, and that's partly why I'm doing the Mountain West breakdown today. But yeah, let's just pull up Utah State's schedule. Utah State schedule. Yeah, this isn't janky at all. Yeah, so I have them. We're not going to break down every single game for every single team. I'm going to give you the overall records for each team in the conference, but we are going to break down Utah State because I'm a Utah-based sports commentator. So Utah State plays Idaho State. I think they win that. Utah State plays Washington. I did pick them to lose that game. But Washington's super up in the air. Super back and forth all the time. Especially since he who shall not be named left and went out to Alabama. So there's that. Utah State could win that game. They really could. Another interesting thing about Utah State, who is the only coach to coach at BYU to never have a losing record? Bronco Mendenhall. Even Lavelle Edwards, as fantastic as he was as a coach, had a losing record every so often. And I think Kalani Sitake's had 2 or 3 losing seasons in his tenure. So Bronco Mendenhall is nothing to turn your nose up at. And he might be getting Utah State up into a pretty good situation this year. So, if Utah State can get no fewer than 2 losses, but also run the gauntlet, be lossless and be undefeated in the Pac-12, I think there's a really good chance that they're the highest ranked group of 6 conference champion, and they'll get that 12 spot. But we'll get to that spot as we go along. So, yeah, I do project they're going to lose to Washington. I do project they're going to lose to Utah. I think they're going to beat Troy. I think they lose to Boise State because it's at Boise State. That's a really hard thing. And then WSU, I think they win that game. But these first 5 weeks against Washington, Utah, and Boise State, if they can win 2 out of the 3 of those, I think their chances are sky high for them to get to the college football playoffs. I don't project them having that right now, but that is a very real possibility this season. I have them winning against Texas State, have them winning against Colorado State, have them winning against Fresno, San Diego, Oregon State, and then there is a to-be-determined game. Because that's a little weird. That's a little weird with Utah's schedule. There's a to-be-determined game. The several team in the Pac-12 have to-be-determines. So we'll see what happens with that. But yeah, if they can win that game, whoever they play against, I'm having them get to the Pac-12 championship game. And if they win that game, having only had 1 or 2 losses, I think they're the top-rated Group of 6 conference champion. I really think they do. So let's go conference by conference then. I made this tool to help me break down all the stuff, and it's going a little slower than I had anticipated it would go, but there's that. Actually, it's going just fine. I'm going a little slower than I thought that I would. But anyways, here is the Pac-12. The 8 teams from the Pac-12. Starting from the bottom, we got Colorado State going 2-10. Washington State going 4-8. Oregon State 4-7. They got a little bit of a weird schedule. They were one of the ones that only had 11 games. Fresno State, I have them going 7-5. Texas State 6-5. Once again, they had 11 games. San Diego State, I have them going 6-5. They had 11 games. Utah State, if they win that to-be-determined game, I have them currently sitting at 9-4. And then Boise State, I think is going to just about run the table on this. They have a fairly difficult game later on in the season. Actually, they kick off the season playing against Oregon. So I don't think Boise State's winning that game. But I do have that as the only game that Boise State loses. And if that is the only game that Boise State loses, they're going to be 11-1, and they're going to be playing in that Pac-12 championship game. It's going to be really hard for me to say Boise State Pac-12, because they've been, I can't remember what they were before they were in the Mountain West, but yeah, they've been in the Mountain West for a little while. Anyways, so there's the Pac-12. You have Boise State and Utah State playing in the Pac-12 championship game, and I do have Boise State winning that currently. I do have them coming out to that conference championship game at the moment. Utah State has every possibility of shocking the world this year. So keep your eyes out for Utah State. And it looks like Utah State and Boise State also had 11 game schedules. They have 12 games listed here, but because I had them listed in the conference championship game. All right, let's go to the ACC. And that is a little bit lower on my list. Okay. Going down to the bottom of the ACC. Pittsburgh. We got 3-9. 3-9 for Pittsburgh. Duke, ACC champion from last season. Ha! Should have never happened, guys. Should have never happened. Duke, I have going 3-9. North Carolina also going 3-9. Syracuse, 4-8. Florida State, 4-8. Virginia Tech, 5-7. Stanford, 5-7. Wake Forest, our first bowl-eligible team from the ACC, 7-5. Clemson, 7-5. Cal, 6-6. I don't know why they're listed higher than the other ones. But 6-6 Cal. Virginia is next at 9-3. NC State also going 9-3. Yeah, the ranking on this system is a bit odd. Oh, that's why. It's because it's ranked by conference record. So let's go back to the bottom of the ACC. Feel free to roast me in the comments. So Pittsburgh, 3-9, 1-8 in the ACC. Duke also 1-8 in the ACC. North Carolina 3-9, but 1-7 in the ACC. Weird things going on with North Carolina's schedule, but I did verify their schedule. If I'm wrong on some details, please let me know in the comments. Syracuse 4-8, 2-7. Florida State 4-8, 2-6. Once again, I checked a bunch of these, and for whatever reason, some teams are playing more ACC games than others. Some are on a 9-game schedule, and some are on an 8-game schedule. Florida State's one of the 8-game schedules. But Florida State is playing 4-8 and 2-6 in the ACC. Virginia, 9-game schedule, 3-6 in the ACC, 5-7. Stanford, total record 5-7. Their ACC record 3-6. Wake Forest 7-5, but 4-5 in the ACC. So losing record in the ACC. We finally break even with Clemson, 7-5, 4-4. 6-6 for Cal, but 5-4 in the ACC. We're breaking 500 now. Virginia 9-3 and 6-3 in the conference. NC State 9-3 and 6-3. Boston College 8-4. But 6-2, I guess one fewer loss is higher in the percentages, but that wouldn't really boost them up in our national ranking. SMU top 4. We have 9-3, 7-2 in the ACC, and in the third spot, just barely not getting to the ACC championship game, I have Georgia Tech with 10-2. As their total record, one of those games being Georgia. I do have them losing against Georgia. And I'm gonna fact check that. Yeah, I do have them losing against Georgia. But yeah, 10-2 for Georgia Tech. And I lost my conference thing here. Yeah, feel free to. I'm working with tools, so we'll have a better system. Once we get consistently going up here, the ACC, and going to the ACC championship game, we have Louisville and Miami. Louisville 10-3, 8-1, and I have Miami going 8-3 overall with their regular season record, 8-1 in the ACC. So that 13th game for Louisville and Miami, that is because of the conference championship game. So we have it. ACC, Miami, and Louisville. And I have Miami winning the ACC championship game, solidifying themselves in the college football playoffs for the second year in a row. We'll get to where they're ranked once I do my playoff predictions. But yeah, Boise State winning the Pac-12 first year, back from near death. They might still be in their death throes, but trying to salvage it, and Boise State coming out on top in this first year with 8 teams. Having a good chance getting to the college football playoffs. We'll see how that goes. And then Miami winning the ACC, having a regular season record of 8-11-3. Yeah, so there's that. Just as we go through these, you might see a lot of my SEC bias coming into here, and there is a bunch of that. But as I went through these, I was like, oh, this is surprisingly reasonable. This is surprisingly reasonable. So keep your minds open. Keep your minds open. I'm going to get a lot of these wrong. I think if I have 30% or better, that's going to be a win for my predictions this season. But yeah, I went through every single college football game this whole season. And yeah, That's almost 1,000 games. I think it was over 1,000 games by the time I calculated everything. So yeah, very very long project. You get to see the results of that, and yeah, hope you enjoy. Let me know if you're hating my predictions and all this kinds of stuff. Feel free to roast me in the comments as always. I want to know what your predictions are. What do you think the Pac-12? See, I did it again, almost the Mountain West. What do you think the Pac-12 is going to be? Who do you think is going to go to the Pac-12 championship game, and who do you think is going to go to the ACC championship game? Is it going to be Boise State? Is it going to be Utah State? Is it going to be maybe Texas State? I don't know. Is Louisville going to make a run? Is Virginia going to make a run? There's a lot of good teams in these conferences, so we'll have to keep an eye out on everything going forward. But if you enjoyed this, please leave a like. Helps with the algorithm. If you like my takes, or if you want to find out how wrong I am on my takes, please leave a subscribe and hit that little bell icon so you get notified of when I release my videos. This is going to be part 1. There's going to be 4 parts the regular season and then a postseason part as well. So there's going to be 5 videos in this season that I'm going to do with this project that I did with this software that I built up. So yeah, leave your thoughts down in the comments. This has been Newbie Sports.